Hi, it's Professor Mary coming to you from the Computer Graphic Arts program here at Rowan College. So in this video, for Computer Graphic Arts 217, Electronic Image Processing, we're going to review the project requirements, the project expectations, and I'm going to show you some examples of past students' project submissions. I'm going to show you some good ones, some okay ones, and some poor ones. I'm going to show you why they lost points and why I thought they were good projects or bad projects. Hopefully this video will help you achieve a much higher grade in the project for this course. So let's go ahead and talk about the project requirements for project number 2, which I finally referred to as the alphabets project. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to shoot 26 photos or more, one for every letter of the alphabet. You need to find interesting letters, for example, signs from the boardwalk, or neon signs, or candy bars, whatever it is, license plates, you name it. And then you're going to lay it out in some type of interesting manner to create a poster. So it's going to be 11 by 17 in format. You can make it landscape or portrait, your choice. And then you're going to print it out in the lab and mount it for us. In the video on the examples, I'll show you some good, some okay, and some bad examples. So here are some examples of CGA 217 Project 2, which is the alphabets project. I have some examples here that I've labeled poor and boring. So here's an example of the alphabet, and the student was trying to do different car things, and we've got the painted line and the dotted line, and then we've got all these letters, words with regard to different car things, and this just did not meet the project expectations in terms of what the project was laid out to be. I said nowhere in the project description that you should have text or other graphical elements. It was supposed to be a poster just of the letters. So I think this was just poorly done. Here's another one that I think is poorly done. While I think it's interesting they did all the letters out of candy bars, that's great, but the background is just boring. Maybe you could have gotten a photograph of, or taken a photograph of a candy bar to put in the background, like a chocolate bar, or just maybe put a brown background or something. This just was almost there but didn't make it. In terms of this next one, interesting letters, nicely imaged photographs, but the layout is just plain boring. Throw a background on there, throw a grid system in there, do something, because this is just plain boring. And then this one here, again, this did not meet the criteria for the assignment. You were supposed to go out and find letters in the world, either find the alphabet letters, in signs or in candy bars or in license plates. You're not supposed to be making them. This was kind of, he was in his house, he needed to do this project, and he just made them. So this is not acceptable. This does not meet the criteria at all. So here are the examples that I would label okay. So here the person did a background. They did a gradient background, which I'm not too crazy about, but at least it's laid out. And then all the letters are laid on top of it. Not really in a grid, but kind of laid out all over the place. At least you can read it though. So this is okay. This next one, again, nice grid structure, nice background, so I think this was okay. This one's okay. I'm not quite sure what the kind of marsh photo in the background has to do with anything, but at least they did the some type of background. They tried a background. They kind of put a border or frame around it as well. The letters are okay. I would have liked to seen the letters not so cut out. The next one, this person started out well, but then put the purple background, which does not really go with the letters. If you're going to put a background, which probably you should, I would say black. That allows good contrast to have these things stand out. Also, this text is kind of bad because it's very difficult to read. This one is nice. They went to the Gloucester County Premium Outlets and they found all the letters. I'm not quite sure what this S is kind of sticking here for, but I like how they did all the rest of the letters. So this is pretty okay. This was very well done. The nice alphabets and then all the letters. They did obviously neon letters, which was nice. And then this one, I like what the student was going with this, with all the different sports logos. The only problem is every single one of these is low resolution, and you can see on the screen they look fuzzy. And I don't know if he did not go out and take pictures of this stuff like he was supposed to, or just found it online and then kind of cut it and put it in. But this would have gotten points off because of the poor quality of the graphic. I also would be concerned that the student didn't take the pictures, which is a requirement of this project. So here's some examples of what I would consider good projects for CGA 217 Alphabets project. Student did a nice grid system, got all the images the same size and put it in a grid. I like the text at the top with the kind of the star cloudy background. So I thought this was an excellent job utilizing the grid structure, which is one of the primary things we learn about in design. This one is really good because the student took pictures of all the letters from all the different street signs and then made a street sign out of it. So this is very, very creative. Got a very high score on this project. This one, the photograph is incredible because they went out and found all the letters abstractly in things that were around the world. So here's an A, and there's the B, and here's a C, and here's a D, here's the E. So it's not specific letters, but it's more abstract. So this was very well done. Here's another one nicely laid out on a grid system, and then with a nice background, and then the word alphabets. This one's an okay one. I'd like to have seen the images all the same size. That's kind of the only feedback I would have on that one. But I like the dark background with the neon signs. It makes the neon pictures jump out. This one was another creative one. This student went in and they drew a person's shirt, and then all these letters were from clothing, then it's on the clothing, so it's kind of a metaphor of clothing on clothing, which I thought was interesting and very creative. And this student did an excellent job because, again, here's creativity. So, she's got a bowl of soup. She did all the letters from the alphabet soup. Funny enough, she told me it took her 3 cans of alphabet soup to get all the letters in the alphabet. Then she laid it out on a table with some, greens and some bread, and then she renamed it alphabet soup. This would have gotten a 100% creative, interesting, fun. This is going to be an excellent example in the person's portfolio. So this is probably the best project we had from last time we had this class. So that's the end of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, or talk to me after class or before class, or come to my office hours. And I'll be more than happy to answer any of the questions that you might have.